Hello everybody, the Lawn Gnome is here, and don't call this review a comeback. One of the things that excites me about being a fan of music, especially rock music, when a band that you have listened to almost all of your young adult life comes back in a big way after being on a crazy hiatus, even bands that were around before you were born, and they suddenly decide to come out with an album, it just makes you so eager to see what they have in store for you as a music appreciator and a fan. So I've got two albums today from two different bands, two completely different bands in the world of rock. One that I was actually expecting to come back, and one that I was a little surprised about. Let's start with the first one, The Expected. We all know these guys. Blink-182 made a major stand in the punk music world when they came out and made it big in the late 1990s, with great songs and videos like What's My Age Again, All the Small Things, all the way up to their last self-titled album. And then, in 2003, all of a sudden, they said we're taking a break. We all knew that they were going to make a big comeback in a big way, and especially with what their sound was when they left, which was a very, very different and mature sound. I was very eager to see what Neighborhoods, their new album, would bring, and I have to tell you, it was fantastic. It's a very mature sound, a little bit more mature than what their self-titled record was. The songs in it definitely have the patented Blink sound, but you definitely see a lot of improvements in lyric writing, musicianship, and even more importantly, vocals. Tom DeLonge and Mark Hoppus sound very, very good together as they harmonize, and Tom doesn't sound like a tortured rat in a cage. The songs are great. It's probably a little hard to find the deluxe edition now, which include 3 bonus tracks, because If She Falls is probably one of the best songs I've ever heard from them, but other great songs like Up All Night, After Midnight, Wishing Well, Kaleidoscope, all those songs are fantastic. It's a great Blink-182 album. I highly suggest you listen to it, especially if you were a fan. They're back in a big way, and I'm very eager to see what's happening after this one. Now let's talk about the most unexpected. There was another band waiting in the wings that was so amazing, had one of the biggest fan bases, and for nearly 30 years, that lineup that we all knew and loved was gone. Until now. Van Halen. Van Halen is a rock band that's been around for almost 40 years now. They've been around since the late 1970s. And the rock fans were shocked in 1984 when they let David Lee Roth go. And through many replacements and many hardships, Van Halen really lost a lot of respect and dedication from its fans, even though Sammy Hagar was not bad. But there were rumors that there was a reunion coming out around these past couple of years. They announced a tour with David Lee Roth, and before I knew it, bam! Here's a different kind of truth. Their latest studio album and their first studio album with David Lee Roth in almost 30 years. What does it sound like? Well, I heard the first single, which is called Tattoo, and it really wasn't the patented Van Halen with David Lee Roth sound. But take all of their first 6 albums, from Van Halen to 1984, and put them in a wine cellar for about 30 years and age them, you get the sound of a different kind of truth. You've got the patented classic Van Halen sound, matured, rugged, edgy, in-your-face, exciting and fun, everything that we loved about Van Halen when they first blasted onto the scene. Songs from all across the board with some new rock elements thrown into it from the past couple of years, like a little bit more edge and a little more metal sound in there, but songs like Out of Space, Blood and Fire, Big River, and even the classic bluesy jingle that they like to put in there in Stay Frosty. This album is incredible. I put it up there with the first 6 Van Halen albums, marking this one the 7th, because I am a true David Lee Roth Van Halen faithful. And yes, Michael Anthony, the bassist, is not in the band, but you got Wolfgang Van Halen, and quite frankly, the sound really hasn't changed much musically, but it's awesome. It's a great listen. It's everything Van Halen should have been all these years. Will there be a new album? I have no idea, but if this is the last one they ever come out with David Lee Roth as the frontman, I'll be fine. So that's it, guys. 2 great albums. Definitely give a listen. More the Van Halen, if anything, especially if you're a classic Van Halen fan. Comment, like, and subscribe. And the question that I'd like to leave with you guys today is, what band that you love that hasn't made an album in a while would you like to see make a big comeback in a big way? I'm the Lawn Gnome, and remember that actions speak louder than words.